evening. Welcome to the State of Business on RTV. I'm Rukshi Panditharatna. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Prime Minister says more funds will be allocated for health and education. Sri Lanka's export earnings decline. Now the news in detail. The inauguration of 69th session of World Health Organization's Regional Committee for Southeast Asia was held in Colombo today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was the chief guest at the occasion. The Prime Minister said the government is determined to allocate more funds for social well-being in the time to come.
We were spending more for debt servicing than for health and education. We are slowly turning that around. But the key is in how we carry out surgery within the economy. In the short term, what we have to do is to drive down the debt by 2020 to 50% of the GDP, 53%, thereby releasing resources, additional resources for education and health. Now, the health system which we face today, the issues are quite different from when we were young. First, how do we find the resources for this? So, it may be time for all of us to get together to see whether we can have one common health program for SAARC and ASEAN countries.
Chief Executive Officer of Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Dara Vijayatilaka, says the proposed financial city should expand its services beyond the region. Addressing a forum in Colombo today, she said the Colombo Financial City will also create diverse business opportunities for prospective investors. Sri Lanka-China Business Forum organized by Ceylon Chamber of Commerce was held in Colombo with the participation of representatives from China Council for Promotion of International Trade and a group of Chinese investors.
Sri Lanka will need to think in terms of developing this financial hub even beyond a regional hub, given that the local capacity to provide financial support and assistance to prospective investors, there will be a need for foreign investors to come into Sri Lanka, and this is what the financial hub proposes to offer. And there will be a time, as we see it, where Colombo's financial hub will need to develop beyond having a regional importance to one in which there will be a global and international importance.
Central Bank says Sri Lanka's external sector performance remained moderate in June with a widening trade deficit and relatively low growth in workers' remittances and tourist earnings. The trade deficit, which showed gradual improvements in the first 4 months of the year, deteriorated in May and June with weak performance in both exports and imports. Export earnings for June was $896 million, which was a decline of 5% over the same month of 2015. On a cumulative basis, earnings from exports during first half of 2016 contracted by 5.8% year-on-year to $5.1 billion. Earnings from tourism recorded a low growth in June compared to previous months of the year, while growth in workers' remittances also moderated. However, inflows to the financial account elevated with the receipts of the first installment of the IMF Extended Fund Facility and a syndicated loan facility. More news after this short break. Welcome after the break. Sri Lanka and the World Bank today signed an agreement for a $42 million credit line to protect people and infrastructure from climate-related risks and support the government in responding effectively to disasters. This financing comes as additional financing for the ongoing Climate Resilience Improvement Project approved in April 2014. The World Bank Group's activities in Sri Lanka are guided by a country partnership framework which is agreed upon with the government of Sri Lanka. The CPF will shape the collaboration for the next 4 years until June 2020. The World Bank's current portfolio consists of US $1.9 billion in financing commitments. The chairperson of State Bank of India says success of financial reforms depend on sound macro fundamentals, structural parameters, and on institutional quality. She said this making a presentation under the title Financial Sector Reforms in India. The event was held in line with Central Bank's 66th anniversary.
Economic reforms, and for that matter, financial sector reforms, are as much a political choice as economic. Many authors in the past have given due weightage to political economy in their analysis to judge why reforms succeeded or failed. The consequences of not attending to the political constraints are indeed serious. Why is this so? All economic reforms are based on the assumption of a trickle-down effect. As the social scientist Mancur Olson explains, since reforms promise only future advantage, their urgency does not excite the immediate political constituency. In fact, many of the beneficiaries of reforms are yet unborn.
More news after this short break. Welcome back. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended in red today, with both indices recording losses. The all share price index closed in red due to price losses in counters such as John Keells Holdings, Commercial Leasing and Finance, and distilleries, with turnover crossing 280 million rupees. A similar behavior was observed in S&P SL20. High net worth and institutional investor participation was witnessed in Hatton National Bank, Commercial Bank of Ceylon, and John Keells Holdings. Mixed interest was observed in Ceylon Grain Elevators, Sampath Bank, and Alumex, whilst retail interest was noted in Haley's Fibre, First Capital Holdings, and Alufab. Meanwhile, foreigners remained active, closing as net buyers, mainly due to foreign purchasing in Commercial Bank and John Keells Holdings. Let's take a look at the day's forex rates. That's all for tonight on State of Business. See you tomorrow at the same time on our TV. Good night.